Hello and welcome to Soul Babes Craft and Creations. I am Louise and today is Sunday the 25th of May. I will start with quote of the day, and that says, "Forge ahead and you'll find a way out." I'm not sure how I would want to reply to that one. As I said in Friday's video, quotes seem to be a little bit on the darker side at the moment, so I'm not sure I want to go down any kind of rabbit holes with that one. So I will leave it there. Now, as I said, today is Sunday. And in my world, that's if it's Sunday. Meaning, as I'm doing whatever I feel like doing. Do absolutely anything in this video. But in this particular case, I was in a meeting a few days ago, sometime last week, I think. Maybe even 2 weeks ago. And a question came up where I was asked, what is the difference between join as you go and continuous join in crochet? And although I tried to explain it, I didn't have a visual to show the difference. So I thought to myself, now that's a good video. That's something I could try and do. So that's what I'm going to do. So with that being the case, I will have to change camera angle and I will see you on the other side. Welcome back. Now, you can see in front of me that I've got some squares for there's two sets of granny squares, both the same, more or less with both the same colours. I think the red is the only one that's actually different, and I've used scrap yarn to make these because the intention is to frog them back after I've shown the difference between join as you go and the continuous join, because I am still using all my scrap yarns for doing the things for the squares on Mondays and Tuesdays. Well, the squares on Mondays for Boggy Creek. So I will repurpose the yarn to continue it. So I have two bags exactly the same. There's 6 squares in there. All the squares are 3-row grannies. So let's just pick a bag, and I will do, with one bag I will do a join as you go, which would probably, I'll do that first, and then the other one I will do the continuous join. So as I said, these are also still connected to their yarns, so because I do intend on frogging it all back after I finish. Right then, so let's start by creating how we want to put these two. So I'll put the red and orange and yellow and green, blue and purple. That's how I'll do it. My thing. Have I not brought it down far enough? There we go. Let's do that. Too far up the screen. There we go. So there we go. We have our 6 squares. Itch on my arm. There we go. And they are, there we go, 3-row grannies. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make out that these are all going to end up being 4-row grannies, and the way you do that on a join as you go, so let's pretend I haven't done these already, so let's put them off to one side. So I have a 3-row granny, and let's turn that into a 4-row granny. So let's let out some of the yarn. Now then, put my stitch marker so I'm not going to knock it on the floor. Okay, so I have a way that I like to do my granny starts. Instead of doing it as a 3 chain and then basically I do 2 chains, which doesn't count as a stitch, and then start my stitch. And okay, it does mean that that particular one is slightly bigger than the others, but not much. There isn't that much difference in the size of that granny shell. So there we go. I don't put any chains between my grannies. So here we go. Three and 1, 2, 3 into the corner. So I do shell, chain 2, shell. So 1, 2, and the shell is 3 double crochets. Chain 2. Sorry about that. My husband just is on his way out to the shop and didn't realise I was recording. So, right, that finishes the corner. Now continue on round that next side. So 1, 2, and split the yarn, and 3, and 1, 2, 3 into the corner. There again, it's shell, chain 2, shell. One, 2, and then 1. Can't complete the stitch. Okay. 2, 3 into the next. 1, 2, and 3 onto the next. 1, 2, 3 into the last corner. Yeah, so we started in this corner. Now I started with 1 shell. I didn't do the shell, chain 2, shell because I continue normally by staying in the corner, which I'll show you how I do that. So 1, 2, and 3, chain 2, 2, 3, to the next, 1, 2, 3, into the next, 1, 2, and 3, into the back into the first corner. So we do our final shell, 1, 2, and 3, and then I do a half double crochet into that first top of that first stitch. That creates our corner, and it means that I'm in the corner to start the next row. So now I'm going to put my stitch marker in there, but pretend as if I've finished off and I've sewn in all my ends, which I haven't, but you pretend that I have, and that's our first square. Right, you then do your next square. Now you get to the point where you're at the as I'm working as 4 row squares, 4 row grannies, you get to your third row of your granny, you start your first side as you do your normal ones. So you go do your first shell as you would normally. So there we go, 1, 2, and 3, into the next, 1, 2, and 3, into the next, 1, 2, and 3. Then you go into the corner with your first half of your corner, so your shell, you go, you chain 1, you then get the corner of your other one and you do slip that onto your hook, and you do your next chain, so you're pulling that through. Then I just get a little bit of yarn available, and then you don't do anything else, but you are now attached to your first square, but you continue your shell for your corner. That's 1, 2, and 3, and then you go to your next space on the first square and the next space on, so you put your hook through ready to pull up a loop, but you do it that it's your hook is going through that one, and then you yarn over, and then you do your shell. There you go, 1, but you're going through that loop to start the shell, 2, and 3. You've now joined at the second point. Go into the next one, the hole on the hole for your next stitch is there onto your thing, onto your hook, and then you pick up, you yarn over and you continue into your next stitch. You go through as if the first square is not there. Now come on, it's trying to split the yarn. Try again. So here we go, we've got, try again, in. It's trying to split my yarn as I'm doing it, because I'm not used to doing it so far away from me. So but here we go. So try again. So go, do your double crochet as if the first square is not there. Now in general you need to have these loops a little bit tighter. Unfortunately, because like I say, I'm not used to being so far away from where I'm working, so I'm a little bit looser than I normally am. There we go. So we've done our 3 double crochets. Again, through. I'll try and see if I can hold it tight here. Okay, you then you're go into there, you pull up. No, think again. What are you doing? There you go. Yarn over, you do your thing as normal. So double crochet as if the first square is not there. You're just going through it. 2 and 3. Now you're in the corner of this side, but you've still got the corner of that one. So you go into the corner. So you're doing as if you do your corner. So you chain your 1, you go into the corner, you do your second chain. Now you're attached all the way down, and then you go and continue your square. So there's 1 and 2 and 3. Continue. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, 3, next 1, 2, 3, next 1, 2 and 3, then into your last one, back to your last corner, 1 and 2 and 3, and then you either do your chain 2 and finish, or as I'm doing, because I'm needing to keep the yarn, my usual finish off the corner. Then that's you have done and attached to your first square. Now it all depends on how you normally do it. The better one for this style of joining, for the join as you go, is usually better for the lacier type stitches where you can put chain through, and so you do half the chain and then you continue and it's half a chain, and you can that's the better ones to use the join as you go for. It's the ones where you don't want a solid join. You don't want it to look like you've got a solid join in between. This I prefer to do it on the lacier type motifs. If you're going to be doing a square, so let's say you continue to the end of your row, and then you're starting on the next row, and you do the next one, you do your first one there, so you've got a square there, and then you're wanting to join the next square, and let's say that the next square, so you do your one up, then you do the second side joins to the under of that side, and the third side joins to this one at the bottom here. But it will continue to do exactly the same situation, and you follow it all the way around, and then you've got your squares put together. Now what I will do is I will do the rest of these ones off camera, but first we will go over to the continuous join, which is the one I generally like to use when I'm doing more solid type squares. So let's just put that back in its bag, and then I'll show you it completed later. Because I'm already at 20 minutes for this video, and I'm really trying to do it that they're around the half an hour mark, because as I stated on Friday, I have got several videos to get done before young man gets here tomorrow, because I'm actually recording this part last Friday. So, okay, let's get out this set of squares. Now this is exactly the same, 6 colours in the squares, 3x3 squares done. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Right. There is a slight difference when you work the continuous. You start at your furthest right side. So on this case, I'll be starting with my yellow. Now, I'm going to be joining, usually with a continuous join, you have a separate yarn. It's usually the one that you would like to border your squares with and border your blanket or whatever it is that you're making with. So I am going to be using white. Now I am using DK weight, even though that the red one does seem a little bit thick, but it is a DK weight, and that's a DK weight, even though it's a bit thin. So, but they're all DK. Right, so I've got get my end for my white. Let's put that on there. Now then, like I say, make out that these squares are done and complete already, and the ends are all sewn in and this, that and the other. So I start with a slip stitch on my hook. I then will get my first square, which in this case will be yellow. I will join the yellow with a double crochet, standing double crochet. Come on, yellow, right, out the way. So yellow yarn out the way. So you do your double standing double crochet like so. Now there are different ways of doing the continuous. I like to do the continuous being as a solid. So you do 2 double crochets in the corner, and then you work same way, same as your join as you go. So you work across it, but you work across all the stitches. So rather than doing it as a granny, you can do it as granny shells, but my preference when I do this kind of joining is solid lines. So follow to the corner. So 1 double crochet in every stitch all the way along. Two double crochets in the corner, 1 and 2. Now you're not joining to this yet. What you do is you come back down this side. So you do your first side, you come down this side, then you go back up it. So you finish that, you chain your 2 as you would normally do in a corner, and then you do your 2 double crochets in the corner. Give me some yarn. Try not to tangle up with the others. Right, so we've now got there, so you continue down 1 double crochet in every stitch. Don't forget that first one, sometimes gets hidden, but it's there, so make sure you get that one. And then you go down all the way. So yeah, continue on down through doing a stitch in every stitch. Then we get to the corner, you do your 2. You chain 1. You turn, and then, in fact, you chain 1. You pick up this one at the same time, and you prep yourself ready to do a double crochet. So you yarn over, you go into your corner of your next one, and you do your double crochet as normal. But what you then do is you take it out of there and you go into the top of the double crochet on that first square. So you pick it up, you pull it through there, yarn over, do your double crochet. lift, go into the next stitch, pull it up and through, then go into your first stitch there, 1 and 2, 1, there we go, pull your loop out, go into the next stitch, pull the loop through, into your next stitch, double crochet, take out your loop, go into the next stitch on your first square, pull up the loop, yarn over, go into your next stitch on your second square. Now yes, this is a little bit more cumbersome because you're having to keep taking your hook out your stitch to get into the next stitch, but I find this is a much neater join, much stronger join. So if you're doing a really big blanket with lots of big squares, this is a lot stronger and a lot holds it a lot better. Yeah, as I say, you can do it doing the granny square stitch as well, but you're still doing the join into every stitch as you go back up. Through into that one, into there. Now it should look like that you've still got stitches left. Well, you have, because you've still got 2 more stitches to do into the corner, the second stitch, and it's not working because it's trying to split the yarn again. So, but they are otherwise matching up because you've just finished in that stitch, and that double crochet is into the top of that stitch. So again, yarn over into the corner, work 1, join into there, work your second, you're then joining into the corner of that stitch, and then you chain 1, so you've still done the thing there, and then you continue. So you're going into this one, do your 2 stitches in the corner, continue along in doing a double crochet in every stitch, along this side and down the third side. Come back. Now yes, this actually uses quite a lot of yarn, but if you have made all your squares and all you've got to do is join them all together, and you're wanting a good strong connection, this is a good one to use. I find it's one of the neater ones to do. And there's occasional times I forget exactly how I'm doing it, and I sometimes miss a stitch. And then when I miss the stitch, it thinks, well, where have I missed it? And you have to go back and look. But I do find this the easiest way to do my joining of squares when I'm doing squares or when I'm doing solid shapes. You can do it with the more lacy type if you're doing a lacy join, which is what I will be doing on one of my Wednesday work on a whip, which is my silk lilies on the water shawl that I am doing. That is also going to be a continuous join, but it's a little more complicated than this one that I'm currently doing. Right, so 2 into the corner, 1 and 2, chain 1, prep ready to do the next double crochet and get your next square into the corner, into the corner, do your double crochet, loop off the hook into that first stitch, pull through and off onto the next stitch. There we go. Pull through, and basically you keep doing this all the way round. What I will do actually now is right at this second is pause it, so because we're already at 35 minutes, but basically you keep going up and round, and then what you do is you go up around it and then come back down as if you're, so you go all the way and go all the way back down here, and then do the same as you're doing here with the corners and go back and start these ones. Now, as this was when this was asked about the other day, somebody else in the chat said, well, it's like being being a snake. It's like a serpent. You start at one point and you just go up and down, across, up and down, across, down, round, across, up and down, or down, up, across. But as you're doing this one here, as you come along here, you're not just doing it here. You're joining to the bottom of this one as well. So it ends up being that you're joining both sides to it, and you keep doing it like a serpent round a typewriter is how I put it. You're going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, and then back as a return, and then down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, return. So that was how I like to do both types of joining, but my preference is the continuous join. So what I will do is I'll continue off camera and then I will show both of these in the end part of this video. So I will see you all soon. And welcome back. Now, I am now about 3 hours since I last came on the video, and I thought I'd just show you the two joining systems together. So we have join as you go, and we have the continuous join. As I said earlier, the join as you go, I personally would use it more on a lacier type motif. It's the type of one where if you're not wanting to border your square, it would be a good one to join. And lacy motifs, you don't want to border the squares to put them together. So personally, I would use the join as you go on a lacy type square or lacy type motifs, and I would use the continuous join because everything is joined all the way along. I would use this on things like blankets or something that's going to be more rough and tumbled when you're using them. So because it's a lot more durable, you've got every single stitch is joined, whereas this, you've only got a few stitches are joined, so you end up with gaps. And okay, if your yarn is strong enough, it's fine, but and it's good in its own way, but I would use that method on a lighter weight. So something, if you're joining motifs together as a shawl that's going to be fine and lacy, I would use that method. I would use the continuous join in something that is needing to be strong and held together quite firmly. So, with everything all being said, and if anybody has any questions, I'm quite happy to answer them. Not sure whether I'll be able to, but I will do my best. So, with that all being the case, thank you for watching. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Love and kindness to everyone. Bye for now, and I will see you all soon.